Oh my God, I'm so happy again to be with you on this lovely and the one and only platform of Literature TV, which will help you to know, to open your mind, to know everything that you need about literature. Now, do you know the meaning of literature? There is only a simple definition that everyone can understand. Now, do you know what I have here? All right, this is a mirror. All right, now I look very smart. Literature again is the mirror of society. That's why I have chosen to use this mirror in order to help you to understand more. And I think that you have already found importance of the mirror. It's just to look yourself, and whenever you find that there is a mistake which is not on your face, you correct it, because you need to be what? You need to be smarter than before. So literature is the mirror of society because it reflects, it always gives us, show it. It is shed the light on our daily life, on our daily experience in life. That's why we say that literature is the mirror of society. So whenever you read any literary work, you find the real image of society. Whether the society is good, you can find it in the literary work. Whether it is bad, you can find it in the literary work. Through the interactions of different characters. When I say characters, these are the people, animals, a spiritual being like God, angels, and others that work together in order to build the whole story, which means that there is no story without characters. All right, for today, I would like to tell you that we are going to come back on the book that you are reading, the novel that you are reading now and that you are explaining. Let me remind you, it is the novel which is called Mine Boy. Don't think that is my boy. No, it is mine boy. Mine boy, it is a compound noun. There is mine from mining and a boy, which means that is a boy who who does the job of mining minerals. Here, mine boy is all about a boy who mines minerals. Who is that boy? I think that you remember him. Yeah. So, but if you don't remember him, let me help you. That is Zuma from the north of South Africa, who comes in the city of Johannesburg to look for a job. That is because of poverty, my dear friends. Yeah, poverty is very dangerous. That's why you have to stand up and fight against it forever and ever so that we get rich. All right, we get rich. Money is very sweet. Do you remember what Leah has told Zuma after receiving him in Malay camp? Leah is also a woman, a business woman who struggles for life. She does everything. She sells beer. The police come, try to catch her, and find all manners in order to see how her business may go on. But finally, it's a sorrowful story. Leah was caught and, of course, is jailed, is put behind the bars. That's real life. All right. Now, the book, the novel Mine Boy, talks about apartheid. I would like to remind you that the novel Mine Boy is published in which year? You write only, take a pen and a paper, or just start recording in your head. You write, it is 1946. Can you tell me the year the novel is published? It is in 1946. It describes about the problems of racial discrimination, which means apartheid, brought by the colonizers in South Africa. So it was so dangerous during that period. the society of South Africa is divided, or was divided into two parts, the parts of white men and the parts of blacks. There was the biggest barrier, means that no black person or no black who was allowed to go where the white men live without any permission. The novel describes the hatred between black people and white people, which is very dangerous. So it means that nowadays, today, we don't need to be in such a situation of hatred. We need love. We love each other. We join our heads and hands. We work together. We need collaboration. We don't need anymore this kind of racial discrimination, because it has no benefit. That's real. Let us love each other. But even though the novel described the hatred between white and black, it also described the love. Love is very sweet. I swear, love is very sweet. If you love your neighbor, if you love your brother, if you love everyone, if you love yourself, you will feel life like honey, sweeter than honey. All right, but unfortunately, life is short. But even though it is short, when you live it in a positive way, Sally, loving your neighbor, loving your friend, loving everyone, you will feel it so beautiful, so sweet, but short. Oh, very nice. So, a love which is described in that novel, we see the love between the people in Malay camp, where Zuma loves two girls, Maisie and Elizabeth. Unfortunately, one of them, which is called, or who is called Eliza, had a big problem in her heart. Sorry. Yeah, sometimes English confuses us, but we try our best. Yeah. That's real. We try our best. It's not our mother tongue, but we try our best. This is how it is. Oh, now, it was, of course, just to remind you a few ideas about, or a few points about this book. But today, now, the lesson of today, we are going to talk about the language use in this story. Yeah, that's real. There is what you call diction in literature. Do you know what diction is? Diction is the choice of words that the writer chooses to use in his or her literal work in order to convey the message as he wants or as she wants. Sometimes you will find that there are stories that are written maybe in English, but they use the local language. If it is an African country, you see that the writer has chosen to use some vocabularies of his or her local language. This gives the originality of the book. And also, it's the way of course, to communicate the whole world about your language, the few vocabularies of your language. Oh, good. Now, in the novel Mine Boy, also Peter Abrahams has chosen to use some vocabularies of his mother tongue of South Africa. Don't worry, I'm going to help you to understand a lot about the book. Stay in touch. So, then we talk about also figurative expressions that are used in this story. So I have told you that now we are going to talk about the language used in this book. That's real. All right. We will use the notes that are written from the research in order to give you the real content. All right. The aspect of language that is used or style, there are some expressions like simile, metaphor, personification. There is also imagery, there are symbols, there is what you call allusion, there is foreshadowing, there is a suspense, there is a many that you are going to explain to tell you for more understanding. Now, let's talk about diction and imagery. I have told you that diction is the choice of vocabularies that the writer chooses to use in his literary work or her literary work. Simply that. Diction and imagery. When you say imagery, that is the use of vocabularies that create the mental picture in your head, of course, through description. Diction and imagery. As we know, this book is written in South Africa. There is a Zulu. The use of Zulu language. The first vocabulary of Zulu language is Induna. Induna means what? Refers to the person with the authority. In the context of the novel, this word means a mining policeman, which means that when Zuma was working there in gold mining, there were people who were in charge of security, like police. So these, in a Zulu language, they are called Induna. Then when you are going to put this word into plural, we add only s, and then we say indunas. As in English, in normal English, when you are going to put in plural, generally we add s. For instance, book, books, novel, novels. So induna is a Zulu word. When we put it into plural, it becomes indunas. We add only s. So what is the role of indunas? I have told you that is to keep security, but also there is also the task of keeping law and order in the mines by directing the mine boys' movement during the work, entering the compound and carry a form of riot and rebellion. Now, indunas were there to keep law and order, which means that everything that was being done there should respect the rules and regulations as they are established by the managers, by the white men. When someone starts bringing misunderstanding, rebellion, riot, strike, so those indunas were there in order to calm them down. So this is normal in our daily life. There is also another word which is called yabo. So I read it as they are written. I see that it is yabo. This is also a Zulu word used by Chris. So if I come back on the characters, Chris is also a white man among the white men who were there in South Africa. But unfortunately, he dies in the end of the story. So now, yabo, it is a Zulu word used by Chris in recruitment exercise. So before being recruited, it was better to pass a test in order to see whether you are able or you will be able. In recruitment, this word is used. He asks if Zuma is a yabo. Yabo means what? Means that yabo is the one who is fit and strong and good, strong enough for the task. Yabo, if you are strong enough for the task. There is also indaba or indaba like that. This also comes from a Zulu language. What does it mean? Indaba means what? Indaba means discussion. Yes, indaba, in the novel, it is a word that is used by Paddy. Paddy also is another white man who is the boss of Zuma, or Zuma's boss. He has a positive attitude towards human being, not only black but also white, because for Paddy, a man is a man. Then being black or white, this kind. There is, of course, this word which is called indaba. Indaba is a vocabulary that is used by Paddy, Zuma's boss, when he was giving him instruction on how Zuma must be a good leader. Through giving those instructions, there come up sometimes discussion. Paddy has said a very interesting message, has given a very interesting message, especially to the leaders. What kind of message? Of course, stay in touch. Paddy has told Zuma that to be a good leader, you must be a good worker. That's real, because you cannot tell people to work hard while you are lazy. If you are a lazy leader, how can tell the people to work hard while you yourself, you can't? Please, preach is better for leaders or for everyone to preach what he can put into practice. That's real. Now, let's proceed. There is also another word or another vocabulary which is called bas. Bas is spelled like B, double A, and S. This word is used by Zuma. What does it mean? It means boss. As we know, boss, like Paddy. Zuma's boss, Paddy. Let's proceed. There is also another word which is called stockvert. What does it mean, stockvert? The word stockvert refers to association of beer sellers in the novel, saving association or club. This is a South African word. It is a South African word, stockvert, which means association of saving. There in Malay camp, they are groups of women who sell beer, and they have formed association of saving. That's normal. Saving, it's a good culture for everyone. There is also another vocabulary which is called Shokiana Queen. Shokiana Queen means what? Shokiana Queen means a woman who deals an illicit liquor or beer. She may be also called she-be queen. This word describes a woman like Leah who brew an illicit beer to earn life. A Shokian queen. A woman who does a legal business of selling beer like Leah, they in Malay camp. There is also the word which is called bioscope. Bioscope is of course, refers to the cinema where people go and watches the movies. Where people go and watches the movies. This is a bioscope. There is also another word which is pedo. Pedo is used to describe daddy's situation when he was drunk and urinate in his trousers. That means pedo. There is also other style that the author
Peter Abraham has used a special figurative language. There is what you call imagery. What is imagery? Do you know that? Oh my God, I'm here to help you if you don't know imagery. Imagery is simply the word that, or the vocabulary that the writer uses to create the mental pictures through description. Means that there must be used descriptive adjective in order to create a mental picture in the mind of the listener or in the mind of the readers. To read the books in the mind of listeners of your story, in the mind of those people who are reading your story. You use the vocabulary that you create the mental pictures. It is the picture which is not physical that you can see, but it is a picture that you can feel and understand it in your mind. That is imagery. Let us see why or how Peter Abraham have used now this imagery in the novel Mind Ball. We have an example when Peter Abraham was describing the place, the mining place, when Zuma reaches there at the beginning of the job. There is the rumble of trams, the trains, the noise of cars, the voice of people. Yes. Where that evokes the visual imagery, there in this novel, there are trams, trains in the transport. There are also cars. Everybody knows car. There is also people. I think that everyone knows these words which are written. So when you say trains, immediately in your mental, in your mind, you see the train moving. Where you see people the same. These are the words that create image. While the vocabularies that may evoke auditory to hear, auditory image, there is visual image and auditory image are rumble, noise of the people, the voice of the people, the noise of machine. You see? Yeah. When you say noise immediately, you start guessing what that noise is. Now, there is also another literal device which is called simile. It is a comparison. Now, let us see. Induna was like, Induna, you remember the word Induna? All right? Yeah. Induna was like a shepherd with a spear. So now, this is an irony. Actually, the shepherd should not have the spear, especially where if they want to protect their sheep from predators. But here, these Indunas were in charge of security, not terrorizing the people with their spears. Imagine if you have the spears while you are leading the people. What will they imagine is simply to kill them, which is opposite of your duty and your obligation that you have toward those people. It is an irony. So now, these Indunas were supposed to protect these people and keep the mines safe, but they could be brutal toward the mine workers. Yeah, which means that if they had those peers referring to their behavior, they could be brutal, they could be violent and hurt the mine workers, which is not good. The leaders should not terrorize the people that they are leading. Now, The eyes of these men were like the eyes of the sheep that did not know where to run when the dog barked. The sheep here are the mine boys. This is like another figurative language, which is a metaphor. But the comparison by using Induna was like. This is a metaphor. Again, the eyes of these men were like. These are the simile. It is not a metaphor, it is a simile, where we use the comparison by using the words of comparison, like, as. Yeah. Now, let us see. Again, the simile is used on Johannes. Johannes J.P. William, when he is sober, he is as a lamb. He is as a lamb. This is also a simile. After simile, we have also a metaphor. This is a comparison which doesn't use the comparative word like, as we have seen examples of simile here. Let's see. Amount of white sand made by black men. Amount of white sand made by black men. This shows how black labor enriches or make the white men rich. Yes, the white investors rich in the colony of South Africa. There is also Ndola as the stick monkey in the clouds, which means that now the Ndola is a teacher who is being described as a monkey in the clothes of a white man. So now here Peter Abraham is comparing directly Ndola to a monkey. This is what we call the metaphor. There is also another which is called personification. Example, when by explanation, when you say personification, is when you take something which is not a human being, which doesn't have the life, and then you give it the quality, ability of a human being. Let us see. This mocking of a man by the sand. This captures Zuma's first day experience at the mines pushing sand to the dumps. All his effort does not seem to reduce the sand, as if the sand is laughing at him. Mocking, to mock. Actually, the word mock, to mock someone, is like when you see someone who is performing a hard task, but the task is not generating an income. When you take a decision of showing him that he is doing useless job in the way which will not make him happy, it is like to mock that person. So this should be used on the people. But the sand was mocking Zuma. Let's see another. Empty street with tall sleeping buildings. Tall sleeping buildings. So now, the cult of sleeping actually is for human beings, not for the building. That's why, because the buildings have no life, they can't sleep. And human being can sleep because he has life and he has worked hard. Maybe he's tired or she's tired. That's why there is the time for sleeping in order to relax. Yes. So this is a personification. There is also the city of gold sleeping. Gold is sleeping. Gold cannot sleep. So, sleeping is the quality of a human being. Oh my God. Now, there's also another personification. The sky will give us money. The sky will give us money. How can the sky give you money? That is impossible. So it means that to give and to take, to give is the quality, is the action that can be done by human being, but the sky cannot give. It is said by Leah, telling Maplanka, who was afraid of a traitor within Leah's household. And then because Maplanka was so afraid of that, she of course has advised Leah to stop this business while it was not good. Now, there is also another figurative language, which is oxymoron. Now, oxymoron, let's see. But he is a good fool, a good fool. Actually, when it is like contradicted, to use the contradicting word, a good fool. What is the advantages of being a fool? But it is said to be good. How? So, there is also expression on this expression, on this example of being a good fool. Yeah. This, their explanation. This is expression made by the wife of the kind colored man who helps Zuma to escape being arrested by the police during his first outing in a city with Joseph. I think that you remember the scenario. If you don't remember, please you can go back in the previous videos where I have uploaded a plot summary of this story so that you can get full information. There is also another which is the antithesis. Let's give you an example. For she wants me and she does not want me. You see, is also a contradictory expression. She wants me, but she does not want me. Zuma says this to D. D is a Paddy's wife. Yeah, he wanted to show her the character of Eliza, Eliza's love, the situation of Eliza's love. So Eliza is a beautiful girl teacher, but she suffers double consciousness. She is a black woman, but she needs to be like a white man, a white woman. She wants to live like a white man. That is impossible. Being black is one personality. Needing to be like white is also another personality, double. So now, there is also another one which is the euphemism. For instance, he is finished. So now, this is an expression which is used by a doctor to mean that daddy is about to die. Actually, euphemism is used in order to reduce the intensity of intensity or the strongness of the strength, not strongness, strength of the message that is being given. Is like to make it simple, because sometimes when you say it as it is, it can hurt the people. So to avoid hurting the people, you can use a simple and smooth vocabulary so that your message may not be dangerous to the people in spite of being real. That is what you call euphemism. There is also another which is paradox. An example, Lena's life is a paradoxical and strange in this sense that she has a son who will soon be a teacher and a daughter who marries a man that looks like a white man, but she chose to live in Leah's house for a little beer and food. So now, in this paradox, there is a woman who is called Lena. Lena one wished to live in a simple life, looking like a poor, while she has the children who were able to help her to live in a different life, but Lena chose to live at Leah's. Okay, it's like that. Yeah, for drinking and being drunk. Another paradox is also Zuma finds it difficult to love Maisie, who really cares for him and makes him happy. Now Zuma find it difficult to love Maisie, while on other side, Maisie is the one who used to do everything in order to keep Zuma safe and happy. But in spite of doing all those things, it was useless because still Zuma felt difficult to love Maisie, even though Maisie does everything to make Zuma in a good life. It is just what you call a paradox, to do an opposite of what you should do. There is an epigram. An epigram actually is an expression of, is a wise expression, is a expression which is full of wisdom. Hard work helps the heart. Hard work helps the heart. It is, yeah, this is Zuma's thought on using work to cope with the Eliza's absence. Yeah, so it means hard work helps the heart. When Eliza leaves or left Zuma, Zuma has chosen to work hard in order to see whether he can forget the situation, bad situation caused by Eliza, who left him. There is also chiasmus. Chiasmus, an example. No man is a fool who takes the woman he wants, but all men are fools who want the women they take. You see? No man is a fool who takes the woman he wants, but all men are fools who want the women they take. The expressions are from Leah. Yeah, these words are said by Leah and Maplanka, respectively, while they are discussing the Eliza-Zuma relationship. When they were discussing the relationship between Zuma and Eliza. There is also symbol. Money, for instance, in that period, money, it was a symbol of power, as Leah has said, telling Zuma that money must be your first friend in this town. Yeah, money. So now, the purse, there is also another symbol of the purse. The purse given to Zuma in the mines is a symbol of identity and policing, and spatial limitation for the black man in colonial South Africa, which means that if some people are being given the purse in order to have a right of doing something, that purse was the symbol of identity, policing, and spatial limitation, space, which means that if there is a spatial limitation, which means that the space, you cannot use the space in whatever way you want, to move here, to there, come back. No. There is a limitation, there is a limit, there is a border that you are not supposed to cross. If you cross that border, it becomes a fight. You see, you are caught and being imprisoned. This is how the situation was during that period of apartheid in South Africa. Now, there's also Eliza symbolizes the damage that the invading colonial culture has done to Africans' personality and psychology. Now, Eliza is a symbol of how Africans have been damaged in their mind because of influence of these colonial situation of the colonizers, where, of course, many people, many Africans are damaged. They want to be like white men. They cross borders, they falling into oceans because they want to go in Europe, in America, where, so which means that psychologically they are damaged. They don't appreciate the way they are. But literally, Africans should sit down and find the final decision of how Africans can have good life. We need security. Africans need love, need security, need everything that can keep them safe in their countries, in their continent. There is also Zuma, who represent traditional values, while Leia also, it is a symbol of modernity in the city. Maize also symbolizes happiness, you know. Maize was always happy that the city can afford a sensible individual. There is also a literary allusion at Paddy's house, and they tried to make him Zuma feel at ease. The more difficult it had been, allusion. It's like a confusion. Remember, when Zuma was at Paddy's house, they tried to make him comfortable, but for Zuma it was so difficult. He doesn't feel it. So now, description of Paddy and Zuma's relationship, who want to let him as a friend, but Zuma was unable to do so because of his skin pigmentation. Yes, allusion. Paddy wanted to make Zuma a good friend, but because Zuma has different color from that of Paddy, Zuma find it so difficult. There is also another which is called the suspense. Suspense in the novel, my friend, keep in touch. Don't be fed up or bored by the edition of today. Because it is very interesting, my dear friend. There is suspense. The novel follows Zuma through his experiences in the city of Johannesburg, and all along the reader is kept in suspense as how the story will turn out in relation to his success as a man, his relationship with Eliza. And when you say suspension, actually, suspense means when a writer or a narrator does not tell you the end of the story, you're still asking yourself question, what happens after? For instance, we don't know whether Zuma, after some time, has been released and continue the job and become rich. We don't know. If he has died in prison, we don't know. We don't know the end of Paddy. That is the suspense. We don't know the relationship, the end of the relationship of Zuma and Eliza. We don't know whether Eliza has come back or not. We don't know whether Maize and Zuma finally get married. So this is also, it is a suspense because we don't know the end. There is also the death of Dradra. It is still a mystery because no one knows the one who has killed Dradra. Everyone asking himself whether is the Leia or other people, but no one who's the final answer. There is also foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is exemplified when Leia reports to Maplanka that the police inspector said he would get her. This statement foreshadows Leia's eventual arrest and trial and sentencing toward the end of the novel. Yeah, foreshadowing is an expression which is used in order to shed a light on what may happen in the future. For instance, Leia has told Maplanka that the police inspector says they would get her, they would catch her because of the business that she used to do, which was illegal. But finally, as you have understood the story, Leia was caught and put behind the bars. which means that before being caught, Leah, it looks as if she had an insight of that. She felt it. That's why here is like she's afraid. When she was afraid of what would happen next, because here she has told Maplanka what the police inspector has said. Oh my God. It's a long story, by the way, but knowledge is so expensive. Yeah, knowledge is so expensive. It requires patience and determination and sacrifice. You sacrifice your time and you sit in front of the screen of your TV, your computers, your smartphones, and you take a headphone, you put into your ears so that you can follow what I'm teaching you. But anyway, no matter how tiring is, keep on shining and smiling. This is a Literature TV. Stay in touch, and I would like to tell you that this is the end of the session of today about the language used in this novel, Mine Boy, written by Peter Abraham. Next, we will also deal with another session. But please tell us what you think about our initiative. Give us comment, share, subscribe, share, give us comment. I repeat again, we thank you so much for being with us.